Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and today I'm here to share the first video in my Quilting Basics series. This is a new series I'm going to do that is specifically meant for beginners, but that also might have some great tips even if you're an intermediate or more advanced quilter. We're going to start today with the very first thing that you have to have, the tools. I never really understood the thing about tools until I started quilting. I remember as a younger wife and mother, my husband always wanted to buy tools, and it seemed like they were expensive, and I could never understand why he had to buy that tool. But once I became a quilter, I completely understood about tools, and I think I even told him one day that I got the tool thing now. So we're going to go over the absolute basics that you need if you've never quilted, or even if you have, you might get some new ideas. But I'm also going to do this budget conscious because I know starting out it can be a little overwhelming. You need to get the tools, but you also want to buy fabric, and that's an expensive part of or probably the most expensive part. But I'm not going to include the main tool, which is a sewing machine. So other than a sewing machine, I'm sure that you can get everything you need to get started quilting for $150 or even less. Okay, so let's get started with just the basic tools that you're going to need to begin quilting. The first thing you're going to need is a rotary cutter. Rotary cutters make it easy to quickly and accurately cut your fabric. Now the size that I like to use is this Olfa 45 millimeter, and it's just a straight version. You're going to find lots of other versions, and you might want to go to your local quilt shop and kind of try them out. There's an ergonomic version that also comes in this size and also in a larger size. I actually didn't feel like it was helpful to me to have this version. I tried it for a while, but I went back to the straight. Also, this is a 45 millimeter blade. They do make a 60 millimeter blade, which is larger, and I felt like that was more tiring on my hand to use. I think the theory behind it is that you can cut more fabric more quickly with a larger blade, but this has just ended up being the best for me. But try the larger size, try the ergonomic, and see what you need. But I just want to point out also, there is a smaller size that can be really helpful when you're doing specialty projects, but don't buy it for your main ruler. It is too small to get the job done. It's great for other projects, and I have other videos where I recommend it, but for your basics, make sure you don't get the small size. Okay, so once you have a good rotary cutter, you're going to need an acrylic ruler. When I started quilting, the person who got me started was my grandmother, and she told me to buy a 6 by 12 inch ruler. And I used that 6 by 12 inch ruler for actually a couple years without ever buying any other rulers. It's probably the most versatile ruler that you can have. After the 6 by 12, you might want to get a larger, a 6 by 24 or 8 by 24, but you can do everything with a 6 by 12 to get started. You are also going to need a seam ripper if you don't already have one, and this Clover version is very inexpensive, and it's also my favorite. You're also going to need a pair of fabric scissors. The most important thing about this pair of scissors is that you only use it on fabric. Keep it away from your family. Label it if you have to. They sell these cute little fabric clips so that your family will know, hey, this is only to be used on fabric. But while there are beautiful and very expensive scissors out there, you don't need to get a pricey pair if you just use it for fabric. My first pair of scissors was a pair of Fiskars, and those are not pricey at all, and it did the job for many years. Then I got a pair of Gingers, and you can find simple Gingers for a reasonable price, but just get a pair of scissors that fits comfortably in your hand and that you just use for fabric. Since you're going to be using that rotary cutter, you're going to need a rotary cutting mat. And what the rotary cutting mat does is it protects the surfaces underneath it from the very sharp blade that you're going to be using. And what I would suggest is that you get the biggest mat that will fit in your space right at the beginning. I'm going to show you 3 sizes and they're at 3 different price points, but at the very minimum, the 12 by 18. This would be the smallest size you would want to start with. So 12 by 18, you can turn it lengthwise when you're cutting bigger things or keep it this way, but this would be the smallest. If you can, it's better to get this 24 by 17. I guess it's a 17. Yeah, this is 17 by 24. This is more useful than the 12 by 18. So if you're only going to start out with one mat, this is a nice size that will help you out a lot more than the smaller one that I just showed you. And of course, if you have the room for it, if you have a kitchen counter where you can do your cutting, where this would fit, or a table that's a nice height, the 36 by 24 is absolutely the best mat that you can get. This is really pricey. This will be pushing you with the other items really up close to that $150 range. But if you can afford it, this is the best size to get. One last thing that you'll really want to have is some pins that you like, that glide in and out of fabric easily and that are easy for you to hold. So some people like a pin cushion. They have magnetic dishes. You can just keep your pins in the box that they came in, but you will definitely need some pins. And I like these magic pins for their ease of use and for the nice size and for the ability that they are to just quickly grab them out of the pin cushion. Okay, so those are the basics that you'll need to get started. I'm really confident that you can get everything you need for less than $150. You might even be able to really come in under budget if you join a quilting guild or group. A lot of times those guilds will have a table at their monthly meetings where people just bring items to put on the table to donate. If maybe they got a new ruler and they're going to give their old ruler for somebody to take. So you might also consider that if you are on a tight budget for the tools that you need. But this is what you need to get started. Get these tools and start looking at fabrics and patterns, and you'll be ready to quilt. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that you will start looking around for some of these items so that you can join the quilting world. It's been a wonderful hobby and pastime, and plus you get to make things for yourself, for your friends, and for your family while you're doing it. So if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you'd hit the like button and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for stopping by.